What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be ranking The Flash's Season 8 episodes so far. So yeah, obviously there have been 5 episodes in The Flash Season 8, so let's start at number 5, and I think the worst episode so far of Season 8 is Episode 5, which is the finale of Armageddon. Now, I don't think this episode's that bad at all. It's actually, it's more good than it is bad. There's a few things that I really did not particularly like about the episode. Just like Joe being like extremely angry that they're talking about letting Thawne die. Like, I don't know why he's being so defensive about that. And 2, they should have just let Thawne die. I really think they should have let him die, because I really think that this Tom Cavanaugh version of Thawne should be erased from existence, and then there should be a new, younger Matt Letcher version of Thawne that should appear on the show. So, as I said before, Tom Cavanaugh, he's not a bad Reverse Flash. It just makes no sense that he's in the suit. It definitely should be Matt Letcher. So that part, just in it of itself, just didn't make the episode that much better. And then you have Mia Queen, who really didn't even add anything to the episode. This episode, I was just a little bit disappointed, but still obviously not bad. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So, coming in at number 4, I have Episode 1, and this is, of course, the episode where Ray Palmer returned, which was, this is great to see. This is probably the most fun episode out of all of them. You had Ray Palmer and the Flash taking on Despero. Now, one thing I really liked about this episode is how much more independent the Flash was. He didn't rely on Team Flash. He was using Flash time. He was using speed mirages to fight Despero and the Royal Flush Gang, which I thought was really, really cool. The Royal Flush Gang, not exactly that good of a villain, but it's just episode 1. I'll let it slide. But yeah, nothing in this episode was like really stood out as being amazing, but this episode still was pretty good. I'd give it an 8.3 out of 10. So at number 3, I have Episode 3. Now, this episode, you had Barry going to Black Lightning to help him get rid of his speed, so then he was no longer a threat to the world. And then, of course, eventually you find out that Barry's just, he's basically going crazy, and then him and Black Lightning get into a fight, which I thought was a great scene. You also had the ending scene where Barry went to the future to find out who was really causing Armageddon, so he goes to 2031 and finds out that Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, is the real one behind Armageddon, which I thought was an absolutely amazing scene. The one part I really was not a fan of in this episode was how much screen time Cecile, Iris, and Top got, which that was ridiculous in my opinion, but that was really all that was wrong with this episode. The Cecile, Top, and Iris stuff made the episode a little boring at times, but still I'd say this is a pretty decent episode. I'd give it an 8.6 out of 10. So at number 2, I have Episode 2. Now, in this episode, we see Barry, his life starts to fall apart. He loses his job, he loses Star Labs, and then he finds out at the end that Joe is dead because of a change to the timeline that he had absolutely no idea about. So now he thinks he's really going crazy. He sees himself on the news, and he's attacking innocent civilians, and he doesn't remember doing any of that. He attacks his team. He doesn't remember doing any of that. So now it really looks like Despero's vision for him becoming the cause of Armageddon is true, and Barry starts going insane. And I really like this episode because it's more of a Barry focused episode, and I really think they should have more of those episodes where Barry doesn't have to rely on Team Flash. I think that's just kind of stupid that Barry doesn't know how to do anything without Team Flash, so they should really change that. That was probably the main thing I had wrong with this little 5-episode team up, but still, this episode was very, very good. I'd give it a 9.3 out of 10. And then at number 1, I have Episode 4. Now, there are a lot of problems with this episode, but there is so much good content in this episode, which I believe makes up for all those problems. Now, let's go over the problems first. So we first have the Why Don't You Love Love storyline, which was extremely random, and it had to deal with, Alex Danvers and Ryan Choi and all that. We also had Allegra and Chester having this weird relationship in the future, and then, of course, then Chillblaine returns, and all of those characters I think were absolutely terrible in this episode, including Chester and Allegra, which those two are the ones that make me the most angry about this episode, because there was really no point for that. Like, I really do not care about the relationship at all. I really do not like how much screen time Allegra gets, because she really doesn't contribute anything to Team Flash. But anyways, enough with the bad things about this episode. This episode was so good. You had Damien Dark and Barry as the Reverse Flash. That was so cool. Damien Dark and obviously Barry would team up and eventually restore the timeline when Barry finds out that Eobard Thawne is the Flash, which was such a cool twist. I really liked this episode, and even though there were some bad stuff, I'd still give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. That's how much I liked all the other stuff in this episode. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your own ranking of your Flash Season 8 episodes ranked so far. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.